Hi guys, looks like I am live, so welcome to today's live. So I'll be making my floral wreath, the rainbow floral wreath that you may have seen, and I will be using 65-pound cardstock. All of these templates are available in my Etsy shop as a bundle. So the leaves, the flowers, and then the base for the wreath. And I have got everything with my Cricut machine. So let's get started. Hello there, Vankar. And hello everybody else that's joining. So I will be using a bone folder to first shape the flowers, as well as a quilling tool. So this is my bone folder, this is my quilling tool. All of the tools that I'll be using not only on this video but in other videos as well, they are listed in my profile, in my bio, under Amazon storefront. So you can find all my tools there. I also will be using hot glue today, my hot glue gun and hot glue sticks. And I will also be using some craft glue. I use Barely Arts craft glue. I do have a link for this one in my bio for 10% off. So let's get started. There are in basically all of the flowers, and as you guys can see, I've made pretty much all of them except for these two. These are the really two different styles. You have the rolled flowers in the strip, you roll them from a strip, and then you have the spiral rolled flowers. So the daisies are the rolled strips, and then all the other ones, roses, these like sunflower looking ones, they are all in this form, which is the spiral shape. And so if you know how to do one, you know how to do all of these. And then the daisy, these are the two flowers that I will be showing you guys how to do. And as I mentioned, I'm going to use my bone folder just to prep. And I'm just realizing I have some green. Oh, I was coloring with my daughter, so now of course I have green marker all over me. Anyways, I am a stay-at-home mom, or a homeschooling mom, for those of you who don't know. So anytime that I am not spending with my daughter, I am spending here on this page, talking to you guys, making content, making paper flowers, and I just try my best to balance it out. But yeah, so as you can see, I'm going around the whole basically flower. These are supposed to be the petals, and I'm just gently curling so it ends up still being a spiral, but a more 3D looking one, as the petals now start to sit upright. And you will see what I mean once I start rolling the flower. Alright, so I'm going to go back to the beginning, and for the first petal, we'll call this a petal, I'm going to make sure that it's extra curled, because it's going to be like the bud, right? It's going to be the first, and even the second one a bit. These are going to be the first ones that we roll, so the roll is going to be super tight, and it's going to be mimicking the bud. Oh yeah, and one more tool that I didn't mention that I'm going to use is the reverse tweezers. I like these for rolled flowers. And so I'm going to start here at the very end and gently start rolling the flower. Oh, hold on. This can happen, so I'm going to go back in again, grab a better piece, and then start rolling use your fingers again. Oh. Let's see. All right. Third time is a charm. Okay. So we're rolling and rolling, and you're just gonna keep basically rolling all the way to the end. You don't need to apply any glue at this time, and you can also remove, once you have formed the bud, you can remove the flower from the reverse tweezers. Keep it still tight. I like to still keep it, tight, and just continue rolling all the way through. And I've seen some crafters use a drill to roll these flowers as well. Basically, like, you put a hairpin. You put the flower in a hairpin, and then you put the hairpin into the drill, and then you turn the drill on, and it like rolls it in like 2 seconds. I have never tried that, but I'm not gonna lie, I am curious, because I've seen that viral video go around for a while. Oh wow, I don't know why I didn't see your messages. Hi Yagami, how are you? Happy Mother's Day to you as well. Let's see. But yeah, I was gonna ask you guys, hi Lourdes, if anyone has tried this method, because sometimes you see these like craft hacks, but in reality they really aren't hacks. I think some people have a way to make them look like hacks. So if anybody has tried the drill trick for rolled flowers, let me know. But now that I have rolled the entire flower, I'm going to just gently release it a bit. I don't need it to be super tight. At the same time, I don't want it to open up too much where there's like too much space. So very cautiously sort of release it until you are happy. But obviously the more you release it at this point, the bigger the flower is going to be, and the more you keep it together, it's going to be looking more like a bud. So it's nice sometimes if you're creating a whole set, or especially if you're creating something with the same flower, you could create variations by opening certain ones and then keeping certain ones closed. Anyway, so I think I like where mine is at this point, so I'm just gonna hold it so it doesn't open up anymore. And then there's this like circle thing, that's the base essentially. That's where I'm going to add some hot glue. Of course, any kind of glue would work, but that is what I prefer to use. And then just stick that in. Then here you have the option, and I do like to do this, you have the option to open up the petals a bit, very gently though. We don't want them to tear. Sometimes I also like to use just like my fingers, but I do like to put the flower down, so I'm going to do that. So whatever you're more comfortable doing, you can use a tool, you can use a wooden dowel to open the petals, or just simply your hands. And I don't like to open all the petals, just the outside ones for the most part. But yeah, do this until your flower looks good to you. Mine looks good to me right here. So I'm gonna place my flower. So once again, if you know how to do this, then you will know how to do this style as well. The rose, the sunflower, and then this one, which is very similar, just the petals are like a bit longer. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4 different styles in the spiral rolled flowers, and then 1 style in the strip. These will also be rolled, but the flowers, the pattern basically is a strip. And also the daisies have their center, which I always like to keep yellow, and I do 2 strips for the center and then 3 strips for the petals. Oh cool, happy to hear about your quilling, my class quilling in Ideas Academy. Cool, very cool. I love quilling. I want to make more time for it, and I will one of these days. Okay, thank you. Love, sending love right back to you. So again, I'm going to start by shaping my center, just using your fingers. And then here is where I like to use a quilling tool, but reverse tweezers work in here as well. And then again, the same thing, you're just going to start rolling the center. But the difference is that this time you're going to apply some glue along the way. We're not just going to roll, but we're going to add some glue along the way and then keep rolling. I'm using, again, craft glue, Barely Art glue. You can use whatever glue you are comfortable with, used to, and such. But yeah, also try to keep this rolled tightly so that you don't create any gaps. You know, keeping everything nice and tight here is the most important thing. So here I have 1 strip. Again, I like to do 2 strips for the center, and then 3 strips for the petals. Okay, for the small one, for the smaller daisy, you can do 1 strip for the center or 2, and then you can do fewer strips for a smaller daisy. But I always typically like my flowers to be like full and fluffy, and so I always tend to do at least 3 layers, 3 petal layers. Okay, so I continued with the second strip right where I left off with the first one, and again I'm using like my fingers, especially this one, the index, to keep the roll or the strip, to keep it tightly rolled. So this is a pretty easy flower to make. Definitely helps to have either a quilling tool or the reverse tweezers. Definitely recommend it. And so now that we have our center, we are going to shape our petals as well. So the same thing, we're going to use our hands just to curve and prep our petals. And then with the same technique, so continuing, you know, like right here where I left off, I'm going to add the petals. Now for this, I'm going to use, for the petals, I'm going to use hot glue. I could continue to use craft glue as well, but at this point, I'm not as patient. So that's the cool thing about the hot glue, that it allows you to work fast. You don't have to really wait for it much to dry. But yeah, I added, make sure you're adding like little dots of glue. You don't need too much glue, hot glue specifically. And also know that once you squish it, you know, it does come out from the sides, so you don't want to like burn yourself. And really with hot glue, a little bit goes a long way. So a little dot, and then just roll it. Keep rolling it. The most important thing is that you keep it like straight. You roll it straight, right? So that's why I sort of flipped it upside down, and I'm using the base or the bottom of the flower as my guide to keep everything straight. Another dot. Oops. And just keep rolling. In the beginning, you have to be a bit careful, but then it gets easier. The more, like the thicker the roll gets. And then that allows you to work faster as well. Okay, so this is our first roll. Okay. Now I'm gonna add my second one. Like so. And again, try as best as you can to keep it somewhat tight. We don't have to worry about it as much as we did with the center, because we are going to open up the petals in the end. But it's still, in general, it's good to keep in mind to keep everything nice and tight. Okay. 2 dots here. And because we curved the petals in the beginning, they sort of guide themselves, you know, as you're going around. So that's why I never skip that step. All right, now I'm adding my third and final strip. And then after this, I will start basically adding the leaves to my wreath, forming the wreath. Again, everything is made out of paper, even the base, and I didn't show you guys the base, but I will in a second for the wreath. So the base for the wreath is also made out of paper. I did use slightly thicker cardstock, 110 pounds, as opposed to this, which is 65 pounds. But if you don't have a thick cardstock, you can always double up the base. Anyway, so now that the flower is done, I'm gonna just open it up by going in the center and then gently pushing down the petals. Like so. So basically, now my flowers are done. Because like I said, there really is only 2 types of flowers, the spirals and then the strips. So, oh, and I'm supposed to put this here because, you know, as you guys can see, my flowers match the leaves. So let me bring in the base. So that's the base that I was talking about for the wreath. This is 110 pounds. You can use 65 pounds as well. But in that case, I would suggest that you double this up. And give me 1 second. I hope you guys are still here. You know, mom duty. But yeah, do we get the entire flower template if we order set on Etsy? Yes, the template includes everything: the wreath, the base, all the flowers that you see here, as well as the leaves. Yep. So yeah, let me start adding the leaves. There is not much to it. I'm going to use I cut out different sizes, but I'm going to use the bigger size, or the biggest size, for the bottom, and I'm going to place it. You can use, again, any type of glue. I'm using hot glue, sparingly. And I'm just placing it down. So I started with the blue. I'm going to continue with the green because I'm doing the rainbow. The rainbow colors. Oops. And then I'm going to continue with yellow. And orange. Now some pink. There we go. Again, not adding too much hot glue. Careful when you place it down to not burn your fingers. And last but not least, we're gonna add purple. Right there. And as you can see, they are all facing the same direction, my leaves. Okay, so now we're just gonna keep adding. So for example, I'm going to do a slightly smaller leaf. They could also all be the same size too. And this one I'm going to place like that. So it's going to like stick out a bit. And of course you're gonna, one thing about hot glue is that you have all these like little webs. Okay, so I'm gonna do the same thing here. I'm gonna put it right about there. Not each leaf has to be exactly like the same, you know. But I do think it's definitely good to have, for all the leaves to have one direction and to have some kind of uniformity so that we still can see the circle, right? Oops, I don't really need to put glue there, but let's add a little pink one. Okay, now I want to add, let's see, something that will stick maybe a little bit on this side. Something like that. Okay, and then I'm just going to repeat. And for me, it's important to stay kind of, to have a bird's eye view of my project, because it helps you conserve to keep the circular shape. And yeah, that's pretty much it. That's the reason. It makes a big difference. And yeah, having them going in different directions just fills in the space, makes it look more like lush. So let's add one more right there. Okay, so see, now it's starting to fill in a bit more. I'm late, no worries. I will save this and post it so you can watch it. You can watch the replay. Okay, let's see. Now I want to add a little bit more like here. And I want to add, let's see, I want to add something like, yeah, that'll be good. Now I'm not doing anything to the petals, or to the leaves rather. You could also, you know, curl them a bit, like add a little bit. And I might do that just for maybe the ones that I put on the very top. But you could certainly, you know, give shape to all of them. But I figure that since they're going to be, you know, on the bottom, that they don't really need much dimension. You could save that, you know, just for the leaves that are going to go on the very top. Okay, it's filling in nicely, I think. This one right here. When you're cutting these leaves, as you can see, they are very dainty and they're beautiful. But every time you are working with these kinds of designs, you know, it is always a good practice to make sure that your mat, your cutting mat, is clean, you know, sticky, and that your blade is sharp, or that, you know, at least it's not dull, so that your design can come out, you know, as beautiful as possible. Okay, the project that you do, is it available from Design Space? So this project is available in my Etsy shop, and is sold as a set. Yep. Okay, so let me add one more orange here. You guys can find the link for my Etsy shop in my bio. So So yeah, I am liking how it's coming together now. What do you guys think? And I really like the pastel rainbow too. I think it's super cute for like a baby shower or a baby's room, bridal shower. Really cute. Okay, so I mean, I want to add some more leaves, and I think that will be it. I could continue to add leaves, you know, infinitely, but I think one more. So I'll add this one, and then that's it. And you know what? I'm just gonna keep all the leaves flat, I decided. And then that way all of the attention will go on the flowers. That's my thought process. Okay, so right here. Again, not all the leaves should be placed in the same exact position, because that is the beauty of handmade, that, you know, it's basically, it looks more natural. Every leaf is placed by hand, so don't you know, fall into that. I tend to do that sometimes, where I feel like it has to be super perfect, but it really does not. Those imperfections, whether intentional or not intentional, is what make handmade crafts really special. So see, I'm adding, for example, another leaf to the green section, and I felt like the blue section didn't really need another leaf, and that is cool. So basically this is what I'm doing right now. I'm just like filling in any spots that I think need to be filled. It's also okay if the colors overlap a little bit. I think that looks pretty. So yeah, I don't have a Design Space account, but I do have an Etsy shop. That's where all of my designs are available. Oops, I added this to the wrong sign, but it's okay. So also keep in mind that I'm going to be putting the flowers, right, on the top here, so you won't really be able to see the base. I add a little one here. Another one there. Okay, I think I'm happy. Maybe one more green. One. Yeah, sure, why not? Okay. And so once you have your shape, once you have your leaves laid down the way that you like them, you can now add your flowers. And what I typically like to do is just add my flowers first, and then as you can see, I'm keeping the same flowers on the same color leaf. You could totally play around with this and lay them out any way you want, but I'm gonna stick to that pattern. And so yeah, right now I'm just laying out the flowers to get an idea of what they will look like, and then if I'm happy with what they look like, then I will commit to, you know, actually gluing them down. But I always like to test things out first, because you just never know. It looks like I did good. So yeah, I am happy with what my flowers look like. So I'm gonna go ahead and glue them down. I'm gonna continue to use hot glue. And then you should still be able to see the base. So use that as a guide of where exactly to put your flowers. And that will help you continue to have and to conserve that circular shape that wreaths are known for. So I can see that my the base of my wreath is right here, so I'll use that as a guide. And here you can apply hot glue generously, more generously, because it's, you know, we want our flowers to basically stick to the wreath. So don't go too crazy though. There. And I always like to press down on the flowers just to make sure that the glue is adhering to, you know, all the small parts, going through all the small parts and actually sticking. So if any of you guys make this wreath, I would love to see like how you bring this template to life. I always love seeing like the variations that other creators make with my templates. So feel free to send it over in a message or just tag me in your stories or in your posts. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Burst of Whimsy. Looks like I need some glue, so let me grab a glue stick. Okay. And where was I? Right here. So yeah, I was saying, feel free to share your work with me. I love reposting your guys' work, and it just inspires me and inspires other people. So yeah, I have loved so far some work that has already been shared with me, and I typically repost it on my stories. Now, once I have stuck all my flowers onto the wreath, I may still add some more leaves, but I want to say that this is actually turned out pretty good. Doesn't really need much. But in the past, I have done that where after I put all the flowers in, I'm like, oh, I could use another leaf here and stuff like that. So don't be afraid to do that as well. Okay, and my wreath is ready. Now some stuff has stuck to the bottom, of course. Let me look at it. You know what? I want to add one more here. One more little leaf. Because it's a bit like straight here. I want there to be... Okay, now here's something you can do. For example, since I'm going to add this leaf like right after the fact, I want it to be a bit shorter. So I'm actually going to go ahead and cut part of it so that I can just place it right there. Yeah. A bit of glue. Yep, and that little leaf just, you know, added a lot more, more of a natural flow to my wreath. Okay, so yeah, guys, this is how you do it. Again, I only used one circle for the base. Definitely, I should have doubled up, and I mean, I will add another one after. That's okay. So that your wreath is more, you know, sturdy. But if you're gonna put it on a shadow box or something like that, then you don't necessarily need for the wreath to be sturdy. But if you're gonna hang it, like for example, what I'm going to do is use a piece of twine, string, whatever. So I'm going to glue that in here, maybe make the loop a little bit smaller. And then on top of that, put the next layer of the base. Yeah. And then I'll be able to hang it. But I don't have it now. I'm going to add that later. And yeah, what do you guys think? I see waves and hearts, so I'm guessing that's a good thing. Again, this template bundle, everything basically from the wreath base, the leaves, all of the flowers are available in my Etsy shop. And I will see you guys in another live. I will post this so that you can watch the replay if you didn't catch the beginning. And I hope this was helpful. Thank you, Lourdes. Thank you, Burst of Whimsy. Thanks everybody for watching. Have a good one. Bye.